So let's talk about humiliation. Yesterday, the coup leader returned to the scene of the crime, Congress. Donald Trump met Republicans on Capitol Hill. And in that meandering, crazy, insane meeting, he said all kind of wild stuff. Well, Jake Sherman, a well-regarded congressional reporter, reported that Trump trashed Milwaukee, called it a horrible city. Republicans are going to be holding their national convention there. Remember, Democrats had their national convention in Milwaukee in 2020. It was virtual, so a lot of people don't really quite remember that. And so his was interesting. So then all of these Republicans from Wisconsin started coming out like, oh, no, he didn't say that. He was talking about this here. He was answering my question. Then somebody else said one thing. Then Speaker Mike Johnson said something else. So here's the whole deal. If they were all in the same meeting, how they all got different stories what he was talking about? That means they all lying, and they were trying to cover up. Then he comes out, well, no, I was making a comment because I was talking about crime. Well, guess what? Crime is down in Milwaukee. See, I hope everybody knows. I told y'all this here in 2020, how they went after black cities. He's still doing it. This isn't Donald Trump is an anti-black candidate, and Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, he wasn't having none of it.
Well, Donald Trump wants to talk about things that he thinks are horrible. All of us lived through his presidency, so right back at you, buddy. I'd say that. Look, obviously Donald Trump is wrong about something yet again. I find it kind of perplexing. I find it kind of strange that he would insult the largest city in Wisconsin because he's running for president. He obviously wants to win Wisconsin, win the election. And so to insult the state that's hosting your convention, I think is kind of bizarre, actually. It's kind of unhinged in a way, especially considering the fact that in Milwaukee, there are about 50,000 Republicans who live right here in the city. So you're calling their home horrible. I mean, I don't quite understand that.
Julian, this man loves to trash black-run cities. He trashes D.C., he trashes Atlanta, he trashes Philadelphia, he trashes Milwaukee. During 2020, when he alleged the election was stolen, we know he was lying. What did he say? He said there was voting irregularities in Atlanta, in Philadelphia, in Detroit, in Milwaukee, and in fact, they paid for a partial recount in Wisconsin after the 2020 election, only in the Milwaukee area.
Well, Donald Trump wouldn't know the truth, if it slept with him. He literally does not know anything about the truth. He just lies and tells more lies and tells even more lies. And so, I mean, the brother mayor out of Milwaukee was right on time when he snapped back at him because, first of all, in the course of city governance, mayors have a whole lot of discretionary power. Now the convention is coming, the Republican National Convention is coming to Milwaukee. But there's some things that can be done because you have to. There's some things that can be done because the RNC pays for them. And there's some things that, if it was Marion Barry and President Obama as an example, a lot of courtesies would be extended that didn't have to be extended. Now, I'm not sure that Brother Cavalier is going to be extending many courtesies to the Orange Man and his team, since he seems to think the city is so horrible. And then the other thing, of course, as you point out, he loves to trash black people, black leadership, black mayors, black cities, black countries. I mean, let's go to the S-hole countries on the African continent that he also loves to disparage. He is anti-black. That's not even worth discussing. He is anti-black, but this is a case of some fool. Yes, the former president is a fool. Some fool biting off his nose to spite his face. Because, again, as I said, mayors have enormous discretionary power, and I bet you that that man will not be basically enjoying any largesse there. It was a dumb, stupid move, but what else is
But this is what he does in Kelly again. When you have all these Republicans start coming out giving different stories, that means they lying. He actually said it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I just have to go back to my humiliation king comment. Like, you cannot keep doing this and knowing you're going to be humiliated, knowing that it's going to make the news, and your legacy is forever tarnished by these transgressions, and still think that it's okay. I remember when Trump was talking about Baltimore and DC and Philly, but specifically Baltimore, because Representative Elijah Cummings was still alive, and his statements against it were pretty profound. But I'm just really of the mindset that when it comes to Trump, you've just got to ignore ignorance at this point. And I really wish that the rest of America, who still has half a brain left regarding this election and the choices that we have to make therein, would really just utilize that philosophy, because we cannot keep going on like this and think that we're going to have a country left, that we're going to have a democracy left, that we're going to have left. We are taking a joke for president. Like, we are literally on the path to re-electing a convicted felon, a joke. Like, we consistently joke about this man. He is the butt of every political joke that we have. And if we go down this road continuously, we're not going to be in good standing anymore. And that's arguably if we are still there. Right.
But here's the deal, Matt. For me, I'm not saying ignore the ignorance. I'm saying it has to be focused on. I think what has happened is what mainstream media has done, mainstream media has laughed this thing off. I go back to 2016. They laughed those things off. They normalized what he said. What I'm saying is, no, we're going to focus on it, because we're saying in Milwaukee, this is how he feels about you. We know how he feels about D.C. He trashes Philadelphia. He trashes Detroit. He trashes Atlanta. Folks, this is a man who wants to have retribution. He wants to penalize these places. He is going to withhold resources from places that don't kiss his butt. And so I hope it pisses the people in Milwaukee off, and I hope they vote accordingly.
I'm with you 100%. I hope they vote accordingly. I hope it comes back to bite him in the butt, especially in a battleground state like Wisconsin, where he needs those votes, and those votes are on the line by virtue of them being a battleground state. And I'll say, to your point about the media laughing this off, I'm really glad you said that, because it isn't just him. It's Abbott and DeSantis and these cronies who are trying to buddy up to him, who are every day in our legislative houses, both governors and otherwise, passing policies that make real the things he's talking about. One of the things to me that has been most disconcerting that he has said recently is when he, quote, joked about being a dictator on day one. Because if you look at this country, a lot of the policy is descending into out-and-out fascism, a la 1930s Germany. I mean, people are more and more being normalized with not only rights being eroded, but with this idea that the state knows all and we need to capitulate to the state, and dear leader, what he says needs to be followed. And, I don't want to engage in histrionics, but he has said enough things like this that it should be concerning, like out and out concerning to people. So the fact that a lot of it is taken as a joke because it seems to be said tongue in cheek or is said in a joking manner, I mean, it's not a joke. It's actually incredibly serious. And I think mainstream society, mainstream media particularly, needs to put more gravity on that. When somebody says they're going to be a dictator and then they continue to make dictatorial comments, we should be concerned that they are going to be a dictator. They're telling us who they are. And I think this is part and parcel with the kind of stuff that Trump always says that's along with those lines, especially discounting those he believes to not be ideologically, on his side. So we do need to take these as serious comments, I think.
Time to get paid, blow up like Fanbase exclusive audio rooms are here. Now tap, talk, and get paid. Monetize your live podcast and most engaging conversations. You can now create exclusive audio chat rooms only for your subscribers and biggest fans. And as a user, subscribe, listen, and talk to your favorite creators. Now tap, talk, and get paid. Because everyone's a fan of something, and everyone has a fan base.